You know what? I'm excited about Anthony Hamilton because he's repping for the patchy struggle beards out here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely happy that he gets his flowers. But let's talk about it. Anthony Hamilton versus Musiq Soulchild for the Valentine's Day Verzuz, which you can pick two better artists for a Valentine's Day Verzuz.
You had to dig into the neo soul bag for this one. You're gonna do a
big time
Valentine's Day Verzuz for sure.
Big time. Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for this one. These are two artists who are definitely of our era, so it's always good to kind of see artists like that you kind of know everything for them. But with that being said, you're singing the Anthony Hamilton. You're singing one of two Anthony Hamilton hits.
First of all, don't disrespect.
Hits.
Don't disrespect.
I didn't say good songs. I just said hits.
Disrespect.
It's Charlene and Coming From Where I'm From. Oh, I always forget. He's got Jadakiss Y. All that I've been living and it's that I've been giving. Why, oh why, they gotta do me like that? I forgot all about that song. Yeah, I'm looking at the discography, man. Like, I don't personally I know Anthony Hamilton. I know he's a great singer, phenomenal singer. But when it comes to verses, I always tell y'all it's hits versus hits. Like that's what it is.
Let's see. Music.
Coming From Where I'm From, Charlene. I don't think I know any of the rest of these songs. The real Anthony Hamilton fans will get out there and they'll know it, but
damn, dog. Half crazy, teach me, don't change, so beautiful, love, buddy. Like, damn. Yeah.
All right, you want me to get into this Musiq Soulchild bag? Half crazy and teach me will go the fuck off.
Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love.
Whenever anybody asks me about like newer R&B artists who don't have too much substance, I go back to Teach Me.
This not it. You know what I'm saying? You trying to compare some shit like this to Jadakiss?
Teach Me in and of itself.
Take these niggas back to school, man.
Teach me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved.
Well,
teach me how to love.
You're still talking about artists that actually write music. I'm convinced half of these niggas get horny. They take an X pill, go to the booth, and just let it fly.
That's a fact.
Cause it's all it is. It's like there's sex music, which there's definitely a place for sex music.
Yeah.
As Trey Songz. But then there's R&B, which is supposed to be love music, and I feel like newer R&B kind of conflates the two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like they both had a role, but it's not the same. Mm-hmm. And so now modern R&B is much more. It's just it's just sex music. Musiq Soulchild, Anthony Hamilton, D'Angelo. Who else is out of that? Angie Stone,
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott. Hey, almost that was nuts.
That I yeah, no.
Fucking Jill Scott.
That is crazy.
Yeah, man, that was like an era of love music when it was still cool to make music about love.
And not to say that there's no artists out there that are currently doing that as well.
Bruno, you got Anderson .Paak.
You even got guys like is it Giveon?
Giveon, Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah, like you still got artists that are out there like doing very soulful music, but like it's definitely not out there in the mainstream like it used to be.
Tyler, as troublesome as that album was upon second, third, and fourth listen, that it was about love. It was pretty toxic love, but it was love.
Yeah,
nonetheless.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, man. No, I'm very excited for this, but I'm a huge Musiq Soulchild fan, so he's got this one for me very clearly. It's Teach Me, it's Half Crazy, it's Buddy, it's Don't Change. There's
B.U.D.D.Y.
It's too much. I got nothing for you. like Anthony Hamilton, like I said, he'll probably bring out the Hamiltones, and he'll do some stuff, and I think it'll just be a great vibe. But overall, if we're looking at who's going to win this whole thing, bro,
I think you're right. I think Anthony Hamilton is the better vocalist for me. But in terms of hits, it's gonna be Musiq Soulchild. He just has the discography is too long. It's too long.
It just kind of is what it is. But like I said, for Valentine's Day, it's a perfect vibe to get into.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely can't turn down some R&B, some good down. Oh, I almost said down south. Music's from Philly, but it's some good like actual soul. Right. Some good actual soul for the soul on Valentine's Day, man. You just can't excuse those vibes. For sure. Any thoughts on maybe who we might need to see after this? Are we ever going to
see after this?
Are we ever going to get the Busta Rhymes verses? Or
I will say this: the choices are getting like I feel like the fan bases of the artists that have been recently put on verses. We're starting to get a little bit more niche, so that changes a little bit how we view the perspective, acts on verses, because we started out on this hot with acts like DMX and 2 Chainz and Rick Ross and Gucci Man, Jeezy, and then most recently we've kind of shifted, and now it's Musiq Soulchild and Anthony Hamilton, and before that it was
Bone Thugs versus 3-6.
Yeah, like as much as I love Bone Thugs and 3-6, even on the classic side, like it's not like let's just say you'll probably get through a few more groups before I would get through Wu, Outkast, Tribe Called Quest, the Fugees.
If you can make that happen.
Right, if you can make that happen. But I would get through all of those groups before I ever think about 3 6 Mafia.
3 6 got a lot of hits, though.
They do. But more than Wu? More than the Wu?
Well, Wu is a whole different animal. Because
more than Tribe? More than Outkast?
Not Outkast.
That's what I'm saying. The only one that's questionable out of that is probably the Fugees, but they have the better acts.
It's funny that you mentioned that, though, because Verzuz is seeing itself have to kind of pivot out of just doing music. And, they did the NFL highlight Verzuz, which not a lot of people watched. But the other Verzuz that they kind of announced recently is that they're going to do another highlight Verzuz. It's going to be AI versus T-Mac. It's tough because it's
All-Star Weekend.
Probably, I think so. I didn't even put those
about
two.
To sit down and watch
highlight clips.
I mean, I do that from time to time.
I was gonna say, you go on YouTube and you watch that, it'd be interesting to see what the person also says about those clips. But to make an event out of that,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like to have an event centered around just the highlights.
That is literally a YouTube video.
Like, I feel like they should expand the idea of what Verzuz is. Like, don't just isolate it to like visual media or music. Like, what if you get some athletes involved and actually do Verzuz competitions? Yeah. Expand the idea of what Verzuz is. It's not just artist versus artist. Put athlete versus athlete.
Like
Cook versus Cook.
What if AI versus T-Mac played a one-on-one
game? Like, even now, I would want to see that.
I would.
I would want to see that today.
Yeah. Would T-Mac... T-Mac is probably going to be injured in that situation, but...
Imagine if instead of Triller putting on the Roy Jones-Tyson fight, Swiss Beats and Timberland did.
Yeah.
Under the Verzuz banner. Under the
Mike
Verzuz
Tyson
umbrella.
Versus Roy Jones.
Roy Jones, right. Start expanding the idea what
that
means.
Actually makes a lot of sense because Mike Tyson and Roy Jones are two boxers who are kind of past their prime. I don't know why I said kind of.
Shit,
they're past
Floyd
their prime.
Fighting some shit like that.
Yeah.
Floyd would absolutely fight in some shit like that. Find him some random fighter, set up an exhibition, Floyd versus.
Yeah.
Y'all can go make $1 billion. Matter of fact, I think he just fought somebody in Dubai last week, fam.
That doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Another exhibition.
That would make sense as to why we're getting so many views on the Floyd video recently. But anyway. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And Verzuz eventually is going to have to cut us a paycheck.
Yeah, they are. We giving y'all all kind of ideas. Now, if Verzuz get into sports, I'm going to sue y'all because y'all got to cut me a check. That was my idea.
1,000%. 1,000%.
But I think it would have helped them because right now, I think that they are ultimately having a problem with getting notable artists that are relevant today to do something like Verzuz because it signals that you are either at an apex to where, you're being celebrated, which could probably turn some people off to you if you were out there celebrating yourself like that too early, or you're forgotten. You know what I'm saying? You're over the hill, past your prime. Right. And I don't think a lot of artists are just signing up to signal that to their fan bases right now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, especially when they coming off this pandemic and they need to get back out and start touring. It's a difference between touring when you're relevant and touring on a goodbye or a remembrance tour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. The ticket prices is much higher when you're actually relevant versus.
Thank you. There was B2K during You Got Served era touring, and then there was B2K on the fucking
grown ass men
fucking each other's baby mamas tour.
Oh shit!
This the whole night and day, man.
A little different.
Night and day.
It's actually interesting as well because you also got to think about the other avenues that some of these artists can go into. Like Mariah Carey can literally pop up out of her shell once a year for Christmas. So she never has to do a Verzuz. Mary J. Blige is about to do the Super Bowl. Yeah, she never has to do a Verzuz, despite being somebody who would.
Swiss and Timberland to pay them to make it beneficial, because you gonna have to be coming 7 figures or more.
Yeah,
like
you have to do something. Well,
for them to perform the best things out of their discography, you talking about something that they do to make 7 figures in a year, in like a 8-month period. That's what they do. They go city to city and they play their best.
Yeah.
And then they make their 7 figures. So now you want me to come here in one night and do all of that shit over the internet for free? No, you got to cut me a check, fam.
The situation for Mary J is really interesting because, one, she doesn't get paid to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Why not?
None of the artists get paid to do the Super Bowl halftime show. I literally just found this out today.
Why not? Like ever? Like no one ever gets paid?
Well, they get a whole bunch of publicity and, that leads to more opportunities.
They don't pay the acts? Ever. Like no one ever gets paid for the Super Bowl to do the halftime show.
Well, I don't know if they've never done it, but for quite a while, they're not paying these acts to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
I mean, I guess, but no. No, I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that because I'm not good with anybody being asked to work for free.
Yeah,
and that's essentially what it is. Like, oh, well, we're putting you in front of all these people, so do it for free. No. Y'all would get mad if somebody came to y'all black business talking about, oh, well, I'm about to put you on my IG, so you should do it for free.
That's a fact.
That's this to a corporate level, to a corporate degree.
But this isn't, so just so that you're aware, this isn't because of that Rock Nation or Jay-Z deal. Like, they've been doing it before that.
Right. No. Yeah, I didn't. That's why I said, like, anybody who's ever performed in the Super Bowl halftime show has never gotten paid. I can't speak
for, like, if Michael Jackson did the Super Bowl one time and he actually got paid because he's Michael Jackson. But for the most part, like,
they
recently.
Don't pay you? What if I didn't come? What the fuck are you going to do for halftime if I don't come?
I think they foot the bill for, like, everything that the artist wants in it. So, like, The Weeknd, for example, had all those clones of himself. Like, they foot the bill for, like, all of that. Or
can I trade that for an actual payment?
Specifically, like
can it just be on stage?
The NFL doesn't do it, obviously. Like, Pepsi does it. Like, Pepsi's the Super Bowl halftime show.
But somebody has to pay me, man. Like, I don't care if it's Pepsi, the NFL, Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones. Somebody gonna cut me a check.
Literally didn't know that until Mary J. Blige came out of her mouth and said, "Yeah, it doesn't matter that we don't get paid." What? But that's not the only thing.
What would be the benefit for somebody like Mary J. Blige to do the Super Bowl?
Which leads to my next point that I was going to make. Mary J. Blige got an album coming out soon. So the Super Bowl halftime show or a Verzuz. So like millions of people watching her perform, or
8 million. Like
if
1 million.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, I was about to say like 1 million. If her and Mariah Carey do a Verzuz against each other. Actually, no, that would probably be like 2 to 3 million. That'd probably be 2.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. But
I don't know. It wouldn't outdo the Super Bowl halftime show though.
Yeah,
it would come nowhere near that.
Yeah. So
I guess that's what it is. It's the maximum exposure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think that some of these artists necessarily need that to sell their albums, especially Kendrick or Mary J. Blige, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. But I also think that while we're way off topic now, but in doing the Super Bowl halftime show, right, obviously tons of exposure that will then lead to plenty of other, because obviously if you're doing that, you're a pretty marketable artist.
Right.
So then that leads to plenty of different things outside of that. So, any other thoughts on the Verzuz?
I'm rooting for you, Anthony.
Me too. Like I said, struggle beer gang, we in here.
Me and Charlene.
Yikes.
We in there.
Yikes.
Give us your thoughts on the up-and-coming Verzuz this Valentine's Day. We got Anthony Hamilton. We got Musiq Soulchild. Who's your pick? Tell us in the comments below.
We like to preview every single Verzuz battle before they come out, so make sure you subscribe for that, as well as other music and hip-hop news that we like to bring to you guys. And make sure you check out our Verzuz playlist. Get a recap on all the other Verzuz from the past.
Boom, boom.
You know?
Boom, boom,